hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Otherside Podcast. Today is absolutely incredible. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this conversation, both for my own knowledge and growth and to learn about this ministry, but also for your guys' sake. I think you're going to really enjoy the conversation we're going to have today. So without further ado, today is the other side of chains breaking with our friend and founder of the organization ministry called Chains Break. Today, we're going to talk about what it looks like to literally and spiritually break chains, to help people detach from a life that they no longer want to be tied to in a multitude of different ways, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and restore their identity back to Jesus Christ. Because it's one thing to disassociate. It's one thing to ununite yourself and untie yourself to a previous life, decisions, events, circumstances that have maybe been your choice or the choice of others. It's one thing to do that, hard period. It's another thing to do that with the Lord. And so what I'm excited about with this conversation is that it is, yes, about that transition from an old life to a new life, but it's about what Jesus Christ does in and through that transformation. So our guest is going to talk a little bit about his nonprofit, his ministry called Chains Break, and how that has helped fund tattoo removal for survivals of human trafficking, gang life, cult life, a number of different things. So we're going to hear some testimonies, some stories, both from those who have gone through Chains Break and also what it looks like to lead and found and run a ministry and organization. So without further ado, Dylon, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Dylon Neiswanger. I am the founder of Chains Break. Actually, I'd say co-founder. We had myself, along with my mom and some other tender hearts, have come together to start Chains Break. Yeah. So,
we don't really do anything without our mamas. Like, if we're being honest,
well,
they are the co-founders of everything.
Yeah, so I started on this and I had these ideas and I liked people. My mom knows how to keep track of emails and keep track of bills and things like that. And so I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. Sure. Same. We would not be in this podcast studio right now if it was not for Mama Jewel. So I understand the touch of a mama.
Jewel.
Yeah. It's just wonderful. So shout out to our moms that help make our dreams happen and our passions happen. I think that's really special.
Yeah, for sure.
So sweet. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about you, which I know will definitely lead into the story of really the birth of Chains Break and just the fruit of where it is today. But I really just kind of want to dive in. Tell us a little bit about Dylon. And as you kind of chat about your life, obviously we'll get into what led us here today and the touch of a mom, but really just like where the Lord began to lead you to get here.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up in Leota. I went to high school there. I grew up on a farm 30 minutes north. I wrestled. I did cross country. I loved sports. I didn't plan to share this initially, but it comes to mind now that I'm talking to you. I loved wrestling. Wrestling was my life for most of my younger years. Yeah. And I actually remember your husband wrestling, doing middle school wrestling, and he wouldn't know this, but I remember he was really good at it. Him and Gabe Martinez. Yeah. And I thought they were the coolest guys ever. And I didn't know, I was young. I was like 6 years younger than them. I didn't know that you could like wrestle and play basketball. And then in high school, you had to pick one. And so when they chose to play basketball, I was actually devastated. Like I actually started to question everything.
Well, now what?
Yeah. So I was like, oh man. So anyways, I loved wrestling. Cross country running ended up being a huge part of my life. And actually that's a huge part of my story. I ran at Leota, had a great time there. Started to, growing up, I went to church and but I didn't quite, I wasn't registering that like the relationship piece of it. Right. And so in fact, I thought I could count like my number of issues on my hand and like, I just need to figure these things out. And then maybe someday I'll actually like take the Lord, I'll take this relationship seriously.
After I handle these things.
Yes. Right? After like when I'm ready to like I'll figure these things out and then, and then I'll, I'm sure that'll happen. I did have some influential people in my life at that time. I had a dear friend, Jorge Gallegos. He's from Leota. He actually, it's funny, he would come and work for my dad, and he would ask me questions about the Lord. And I wasn't really walking in it. You know, I just knew the things that I'd been told.
Yeah.
And I would tell him about those things. And then he actually he started, like exploring, navigating, reading the word. And he started coming to me with all these things. And he's fallen in love with the Lord.
Wow.
And so he actually, it's funny, he says I ministered to him, but he was a pivotal person in my life. I also have a granddad who's pastored for multiple years. I think most of his life. He's been someone who's really been there as far as just like a faith figure.
Yeah.
So I go to Greenville University to run cross country. And there's some relationships there that made an impact on me. I think a big piece of it at Greenville is where I was starting to actually recognize the gospel. There were a lot of believers on the team and at this institution, and started to actually maybe digest things. It was there that I started, to grow in faith. And I decide to pick up a ministry minor at the end of my senior year. And this ministry minor, I had to go through an internship, right? I had to have practical experience. And this is really where Chains Break comes into it.
Yeah.
So I decide, I'm just deciding to get this ministry minor because I'm like, oh, I kind of know a lot about the Lord, or I felt like I did, like at least compared to my peers there. And someone told me I should consider it. And I also wanted to run one more year. And so I go and do this internship. And one of the things I have to do is spend time with an addiction recovery ministry. And that in itself completely flipped my paradigm,
Absolutely.
like entirely.
Yeah.
I had grown up, nothing wrong with, the church, but I just had grown up with people who looked like me, who thought like me. And here these people they had clear brokenness, like things that they had been through, and the vulnerability that was present there, the fact that like someone could share this, and someone in this circle would encourage them, would empathize with them. And I saw how powerful that was.
Yeah.
While I was there, there was a woman who had been trafficked for the greater portion of her life. And I'm not going to share her story, but she's got a very severe, it's a very intense story. And it was through her story that I started to learn that a lot of times individuals come out of that space with tattoos they didn't ask for, right? I was also given examples of just what someone could experience in trafficking. Like, we hear about it.
Right.
Like you see what's that big movie that came out?
Oh my gosh.
The Freedom, oh man, Sound of Freedom.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And, you see
Incredible
things like
movie,
that.
by the way.
Yes, great
Incredible
movie. Yeah, you see things like that and you're like, oh man, like what? Like, and you start looking over your shoulder and,
Right.
but like also just learning how prevalent it is in different ways. Like it's not always scary dudes with eye patches. Like it's soccer moms.
Right.
It's parents. And in this particular instance, it was like that.
Wow.
And I do want to share this. It's not my story, but I think it's important I think it's cool because it shows how God likes to work. She was betrayed by someone close to her who was also involved in law enforcement. And that's how she got introduced to trafficking. And so I learned her story, right? And I start thinking, man, I would like to do something. Like I would like to I was like, law enforcement or criminal justice is not really my category. I can't work with the women.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, maybe I can do something with fundraising, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I also want to note that when I met her, she was sharing about a trafficking rendezvous she had tried to disrupt. And that was like, it was my first day at this. I was like, oh my goodness, like, whoa,
Eyes wide.
And then she also was just talking about what the Lord was doing in her life. And what was crazy to me, and I couldn't articulate it then, but this would become this is the inspiration for Chains Break. This is what we want Chains Break to be. There's all this pain, right? Yeah. Like, not that you can't say someone's pain is worse than someone else's pain, right? But there's all these, degrees, and you could make an argument that hers would be the most severe, like just based on what she had been through.
Right.
And I remember distinctly being like, she has the most freedom here. So yeah, I was like, there is something there. Yeah. Like, there's something that she has tapped into. Yeah. There's something she's walking with. Wow. And we hear this, we've heard this, but she knew who she was, and she knew that what she had experienced, what she had even done, like there are things she had done, what she had done and what had been done to her said nothing about her identity.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
it didn't have to anyway.
Yes. Exactly. Didn't have to. Yeah. And she knew whose she was. Yeah. Right. And this is what really started to challenge my paradigm, because, she still maybe used a curse word here or there, or, and I had grown up, like, my church is amazing that I grew up in. They really discipled me. But like, I had grown up, like, these are some of the things we do. Like, that's the way I learned it from even my family. And I was like, this lady, she's walking with the Lord. Like, I was like, that's her favorite subject is the Lord. And she drops the F-bomb every now and then, And so that really, like, I remember that really, apart from everything, just that experience shifted. And I remember even coming home to my parents and being like, no legalism, like very, like almost a little over the top, like, and then being like, okay, Dylon, like.
I feel like anybody that's walked with the Lord or been in church longer than a decade experiences some type of like, hold up, wait a minute, let's. You kind of want, like, at the same time, you love the Lord deeply, yes, but you kind of want to buck the system a little bit, And I just feel like there is this like rite of passage that happens with just about anybody I know who's walked with the Lord. Where you just gotta like, I don't know about that anymore. And you do eventually, like, you find your footing again. And you're like, okay, no, this is legit. This makes sense. Yeah. You do like re-land eventually. But there is this like, I don't think that's right anymore.
Yeah. That's actually encouraging to me, because I felt like such a punk sometimes. And I'm like, I
still feel like a punk sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
I do. Unfortunately, it is something that like I regularly have to petition the Lord about, and my husband reminds me that I do got to watch my mouth. Okay, I do. It's something the Lord and I talk about frequently, and I love Him with my whole soul, strength, spirit, body. Just sometimes not my tongue, and I got to work on that. It's real.
Oh yeah, but that's funny, because your tongue. I mean, it just goes.
Sometimes, and honestly, again, I'm not justifying it at all, but I will say my curse words are often chosen for comedic value rather than anger or again. I'm not justifying nothing. I'm just saying sometimes it's like it just makes people laugh a little more.
Right? Yeah.
Again, not right. It's just. Yes.
I mean, no, but like, we talk about the legalism stuff. Like, why are we not cursing? Like, or why are we not? I mean, I grew up my parents didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I remember coming home and be like, why don't we drink alcohol? Like it doesn't say it here, it doesn't say it. And I just remember my parents being like, whoa.
Wait.
Yeah, you're
Reel it in.
Yeah. So
But I think that's really important as you're experiencing different life stories and meeting new people, especially also someone who came from a small town. They were basically neighbors. Like you do, then all of a sudden your eyes get open to these things. And I do think there's value in asking the Lord why. There comes a time, like think of a toddler. He's told not to stick his hand in the socket.
Right.
He's told not to touch the stove. You're just told not to do that.
Right.
And then there comes an age where he's like, well, why?
Yeah.
Why am I not supposed to do those things? And, people have different convictions. So we're not here to put our convictions on anybody else. But a toddler is told no until he grows and matures. And I think the same thing happens in Christianity. We're told not to do those things, not to say those things. And as you get older, I do feel like the Lord enables you to learn and understand why and what boundaries look like, but also because there's a difference between healthy boundaries and legalism.
That is really good.
I don't know where that came from, but it's good.
That's well said.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing her story. Whoever this woman is, I hope that she knows that you're sitting here today with this really sweet passion and fire and accomplishments behind this story. So you learn this woman's story, you come home, you're asking mom and dad some questions.
Yeah, I'm just starting, I don't even know if I'm asking questions. I'm more like, this is what's, That's
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm sure they would laugh. And they'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's true.
Yeah. So I start, I learn her story, and that was a very pivotal experience. The same summer, I get a bad tattoo. I have a tattoo right here. It's the gospel and symbols. So it's it's the palm branch, the crown of thorns, the cross, and the tomb. And the woman who did the tattoo, I don't know if I was distracting her with conversation. It's supposed to be one circle colored in, one circle not. The tomb's opening.
Yeah.
And so what she did is she colored in on accident both circles. And then she realized it, and she just kept coloring it in to make it darker. And so it just looked like you just didn't know what it was. So
when you say bad tattoo, you mean like artistically bad?
Yes, not bad. Sorry. Yes, I should clarify that.
Okay.
And it crossed my mind just now. I was like, oh, I hope she never sees this. I don't think she will, because I don't want her to feel bad. But
also mistakes happen. Right. It's okay.
Yes, and she'll know it. I mean, she's going to learn that right now that it made a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Like, this is where chains break comes from. So she colors in this tattoo, and I'm so embarrassed. Like I remember that summer I was going to go to the lake with my friends, and I was just like, man, this looks so bad. Like, oh my gosh.
And here you want to be pumped. Like, I got my first tat. It's like a rite of passage. I'm a man now.
Yeah.
I want everybody to see I'm inked up.
Yeah. I want to be able to show up like, oh, I got a tattoo.
I'm going to flex a little bit. Make sure.
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly
You're not doing
what I'm
that
thinking.
anymore.
No. And I'm feeling shame. And I'm feeling embarrassment. Yeah. Right. I'm like, oh no. And so I hop online and I look into tattoo removal. And the lady had one opening, and it was going to be like in 3 days in Denver. And so I make a trip down there. I didn't realize that I now know how tattoo removal works.
Right.
I thought she'd be able to fix it on that trip. But no, she wasn't. It takes multiple sessions to remove a tattoo, and it takes time. But all the same, I show up, and she works on it, starts working on it, and I start asking questions. I go, why did you get into tattoo removal? And she talks about her kids getting tattoos and just, learning that it's very lucrative and it's not hard to get started. And I'm like, I just was at an internship, and I learned that, a lot of times they get tattoos they didn't ask for.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that would be cool. I want to help.
Yeah.
And so my mom and I start piecing together a vision, and I've still got one more year of school. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll go to school, and then, I'll start working on this. And that is basically what happened. I went back to school. And there's a lot of experiences there I realized the Lord was using to form what Chains Break would be. I I needed a lot of maturing, right? And so I'm trying to think right now what pieces of this I should share. But at this time, I don't think I understood my identity, right? I'm still thinking, this is cool. I want a purpose.
Yeah.
I want to do something good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm working with at that time. And so I go to school and I have, I do one more year of running and then COVID. So COVID, track season's coming around the corner. COVID sends me home. So I don't get my senior track season. And I am super devastated.
Yeah.
Like I'm in denial. Like I really, the whole time I'm like, we're still going back.
Right.
Like
It's
the
not
track
over.
season. Yeah, it's not over. And it was a very hard. And so COVID sends me back to the farm. And I'm like, okay, well.
This is not where I wanted to be.
No, this is not at all where I was going to go to Asbury Seminary on campus was the plan.
Yeah.
And continue my education and start a big tattoo removal clinic and do this big thing. And that's not, that's not what the Lord is thinking.
That's not it.
And he's like, also, you have like a ton of growing to do. And that dream is not what you think it is. Like it's way bigger, way harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also your mom doesn't go with you when you do it over there.
No, yeah. I wouldn't have had any idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Mom didn't go with me.
Mom doesn't go.
And mom, actually, if she watches this, she's going to feel really appreciated because I don't always tell her.
Should.
But mom is really the one who ends up making Chains Break happen. Just because I keep going, and I was just scared.
Right.
So I go home. I was in a relationship at that time. And so I'm on the farm, and I do remember COVID's going on, and I'm like, man, I really want to go be on campus at Asbury Seminary. And a couple thoughts were there. I didn't feel ready for ministry. Like I was like, I really don't even think I'm walking this thing out very well. Like that's some of that.
Yeah.
So I want to go and do that and do this Chains Break thing later. Chains Break doesn't even have a name at this point either. So just this tattoo removal thing. Yeah. So I remember the Lord I felt like the Lord was like, why don't you just do 1 year on the farm and, just do that.
Yeah.
And so I start helping my dad on the farm, and the Lord did a lot of things in that, just forming, changing my posture about things, like just, he was good. But I learned really quick I like people, and it was COVID, and I was on a farm, and
not a good combination.
I was in a bad place.
Yeah.
I was struggling.
For some farmers, they were thriving. Okay,
yes.
thriving.
Dad was thriving.
My father also. Like, this is the best year of my life. I have meetings to go to. I got nobody to see. Nobody's coming to visit
my
me
wife
out here.
can't schedule anything for me.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
On the other hand, those that are more social, it was like honestly harmful. And we're seeing that. We're seeing the effects of that even outside of farming. But I agree. Like it was harmful to a lot of people, the lack of socialization.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so I was living in that. And my mom, she starts to, she's like, what if we start working on this idea now? I'm like, well, what does that look like? And so after that year, I think at that time after a year, I was like, I want to go do something. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And so I moved to Garden City in 21. And the Lord uses all of that.
Amen.
Yeah. And so I moved to Garden City, and I'm living with some guys from Leota, in Garden City. And my whole goal is to just make Chains Break happen. And at this time, we're planning to start a clinic. And Chains Break now has a name, and it's Chains Break. And the inspiration behind that name was chains do break, right? Not breaking chains or chains breaking, which like that's part of it. But just our goal was to make a statement, like pointing to an eternal value, pointing to someone else. Like we're not breaking the chains. Like I just remember that being the idea.
So I do think the title of this podcast is actually supposed to be Chains Break, because you're right that chains do break,
Right.
period. There is a breaking process.
Yes.
They do break off, all those things. But yeah, that's really, I didn't know that.
And
That's
we get to
impactful.
herald.
Right.
Like, that's kind of our role.
Yeah.
Like, chains do break.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can take this tattoo off.
Right. Right.
But yeah. So anyways, I put that in there. I'm in Garden City, and I remember I am in this place where I don't know what denomination to believe in. I'm kind of in this I'm going to like 5 different churches, Cornerstone included. Forgive me. Yeah. Like all these different churches. You were, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And like I'm going to a church in Lakin, and I forgot to mention I'm coaching in Lakin. So I start coaching with someone from Leota, Rim Diaz. He was like, "Hey man, I know you're trying to do this thing. I know you're in the area. Would you like to coach with me?"
Yeah.
So this is what my schedule looked like. I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd go work at the YMCA from 5 to 8. And then I'd go work at the radio station and the Lord used all these things. I'd work at the radio station from 8 to 2. And then I would go and coach from 3:30 to, if it was wrestling season, sometimes 7 p.m.
Wow.
And then I would come home and I'd do it again.
Wow.
And man, the Lord, I don't know if I'm sure you've done this, like you think back on something you were going through and you were graced for it.
Yeah, amen.
And the whole thing was I didn't know how to make any money at that time. Like I didn't, and I needed a flexible schedule.
Right.
If I was going to work on Chains Break.
Yeah.
And so the Lord used the YMCA to teach me how to talk to people. The Lord used the radio station to teach me how to, go into a business.
Yeah.
Like this is what we're doing and this is what we're trying,
Wow.
And so the Lord is so cool. And then coaching taught me more about ministry than any class, or I'm sure Bryce can attest to that. Like these kids are vulnerable and they're honest and they're struggling with identity.
Right. And you were once them, you know? I think that's the beauty of it. You were once them, and you remember the impact. Even today, like you were knocking on the door of 30 years old. I am 30 years old. You remember the impact of coaches in that season of life. So it has, even if you go on to be the superstar athlete, it has so much more to do with just the athletic part of it. It has so much to do with character building, relationship building, knowing that like these people, although they're paid a penny to be with you, they're there because they actually care. And not just about whatever you're doing on the mat, on the field, outside running. Like they genuinely care about you.
That is good.
And so it marks them, but also it marks you.
Yes, 100%. You fall in love with the kids. Yeah. You learn their stories. You identify with them. Yeah. Man, that was well said. And so, all these things were forming me. And so I'm still in this place where I'm like, Lord, I'm trying so hard to do everything right. And I remember, I'm speaking to my friend Jorge. Well, actually, I'll say this. At this time, I was not living in proper identity. I was putting my identity in Chains Break or in coaching or these things. And I was in a relationship at the time, and I look back and I was even seeing that person as a part of my identity, a part of my kingdom. Yeah. And so that relationship falls apart. And I remember the Lord, I step out of it because I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing, continuing just like this identity piece. Yeah. So I'm in about 6 months from that. This is the second year in Garden City that I'm living in Garden City. And I am I'm really just struggling with like, what am I doing? Like I'm doing all these things and I just feel like I'm turning my wheels. Yeah. Chains Break isn't going anywhere. And I remember talking on the phone with my friend Jorge, and he's talking about some stuff I don't understand, like identity and just kind of the freedom that's available in Christ. And I'm like, I don't quite understand that. Yeah. Like I know it in theory.
Right. But I don't know it inside my soul. Yeah.
100%. And I remember him saying, I'm going to pray that the Lord just reveals to you what you feel like you don't know. And yeah, because that's what I'm telling him. I was like, dude, there's something everybody else knows about the Lord that I don't know. Like, that's the verbatim. Yeah. That's basically what I'm saying. And I remember that just because I remember like, yeah, please pray that. Like, I would like that to be answered. And I don't even, at that time, I was like, I don't even think it will be answered. And so I am listening to a podcast later, and this woman is sharing her story. And she had grown up in the church, and she had grown up, with like, she just had a good life, and she didn't really need the Lord, but she was a Christian, and, her life is good. And she goes through this hard thing in her marriage, and she has like this paradigm shift where she realizes she belongs to the Lord, and she actually realizes how the Lord sees her, right? That she's a child, she's a daughter. And I remember I'm listening to her, and I'm thinking, I really resonated with her story a lot, not entirely, but a lot, and thinking, if she can believe that, then I can believe that. And I remember she says, if the Lord presents me holy, blameless, and if Jesus presents me holy, blameless, and irreproachable before the Lord's not fooled. Like, that is what I am. And I was like, man. And anyways, that moment, I just remember realizing I'm adopted. Like, that's my identity. Right. And I became aware of this idea that the Holy Spirit lives inside of us. I remember using that language, but all of a sudden it was like, no, like, I'm good. And so, before that moment, like, if I heard someone from the pulpit and they said something I didn't really agree with, I couldn't hear anything they said. You know what I mean? Or if someone, like, I was always on guard, I was trying to, and I don't even think I could articulate it then. But like, I knew there was a security that happened in that moment. And after that is when the language and the rhetoric for Chains Break showed up. Like, all of a sudden I was like, these tattoos are things that are untrue. Right. Like, they are markings that the enemy has put on these individuals to leverage some sort of power that he doesn't have. Right. And so that's how, identity. That's when Chains Break became a ministry of identity.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. I think sometimes we have this assumption that there's going to be this like really big pivotal life moment, like this rock bottom, life altering. And for some people, that is what happens when you then finally realize, I don't have anything to prove. Jesus already did it. And for, some of my upbringing did put in me this level of, well, I got to work for it. I got to earn it. I got to do it. And when I don't do it, then he's not going to want me anymore. Like, I got to do good enough. I got to be good enough. I have to do all these things in order to then be looked at through the eyes of the Lord, like what you just said. Those words are beautiful. But when you realize that for the Lord to look at you with that lens is only through Jesus Christ, has nothing to do with us. It changes everything. And there is that, like, you can know the gospel, hear the gospel, that yes, God sent his only son to this world to die for you on the cross and to be raised again 3 days later to cover all the sins of the world, to everything that you have done, everything that you will do. It's one thing to know that in story. It's another thing to realize that I hate to say repercussions, but really like the repercussions, the aftermath of that changes everything you do and everything you are. That yes, we should work out our salvation. We should do good unto the Lord. But listen, the lens in which God sees us is through Jesus Christ. And that's beautiful. Really beautiful.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a shift. Something happens. You're year 2, you're living in Garden City, and Dylon's life has a shift. Something happens inside of you that then changes really the trajectory of Chains Break.
Yes.
So we're not opening a clinic right now.
Nothing. Say
no,
that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's almost like no doors would open. It was just like, man.
Right.
And it's funny, after that happened, and it was in preparing for this that I reflected, and I was like, that is when really everything started to shift.
Yeah.
And we were trying to open a clinic.
You're right.
That was the plan. All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I just want to get started. Like, I just want to help.
Let's
people.
go. Yeah.
Like, and we were running into these hurdles with. So in Kansas, tattoo removal is a medical procedure. So you have to have a doctor involved. So I'm approaching all these doctors in Garden City, and they're like, I don't know you. Like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, tattoo removal. I'm like, we'll do it. You know, I just need you to. And they're like,
just need you to sign your name.
I just need you to put your name on it.
That's not weird.
Yeah,
fine.
Exactly. And, you know, there's a few doctors here who are really like, man, this is cool.
Right.
It's just, I keep me in the loop, and maybe there's something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And so I'm getting antsy, and I'm like, well, you know, there's already clinics.
Yeah.
And so we've got some money. Like, we can just find someone to help and start helping them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did. I was like, okay, here's a person who needs a tattoo removal. And we started to reach out to clinics and be like, hey, this is something we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, we can find, a lot of times these clinics are like, I want to do that, but I don't have, if they do that, there's so many people who walk into their door and says, hey, will you do this for free? And so these clinics are like, I don't know who I should actually help and who's trying to take advantage of me. And I was like, perfect. Like, we'll just do that. We'll take care of that for you.
We'll be the filtering system for you.
We'll vet.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we fit right in right there. And so we started getting started. Now the goal is still to open a clinic. And the big reason I'm trying to get my timeline right, we do a few things. We start fundraising for that. We started it was the Race Against Trafficking 5K. Now it's the Restoration Run.
Yeah.
And we start speaking at churches, and people really do start to see it's amazing when the story, like, just chains break what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
When it clicks for certain people, like, they're just like, especially, you know, women who have experienced things or some sort of abuse, like, they're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, they really see the importance of getting rid of these tattoos.
Yeah.
And then we partnered with Martin.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Shout out to Martin.
Yes. Oh man. He has ministered to me in so many ways.
He's awesome.
He is a dude.
Yeah.
He's
changing the world. Whether he knows it or remembers it some days, he's changing the world.
He's the shiniest guy I know, for sure.
He is. That's a good way to put it. Martin, you're shiny, man. We love you.
Yes, 100%. Yes. We wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah.
So we realize a lot of our applicants, because of Martin, and not just because of Martin, but we start running in this area a lot of gang affiliated tattoos. And so we're like, we need a clinic right here. And it's funny, again, the Lord is just cool. And this last year, we are working on, trying to open a clinic in the Garden City area. We're still, because we have to send people to Wichita, or to Denver. And so we start working. And then I remember Gravity Wellness, right? They opened a clinic. And when they did that, we were initially like, oh man, well, that kind of, like, Lord, what, I thought you was telling us we were going to open a clinic.
This was my job.
Yeah. And so some of us were uncomfortable about that at first. Like, oh no, like, just what does that mean for the vision? And it was obvious immediately. The Lord's like, no, like, you're doing what I want you to do. Like, you're supposed to be spending time with these people and not opening some big clinic.
Right.
And so
sometimes the Lord's got to make it very obvious because we are sometimes very dumb of like, no, this is what I want to do. And we can hold so tightly to a good thing. It was a good thing. It was a good idea. But sometimes, it's like, no, it was their job to do the removing. It's
Yes.
your job to do something entirely different.
100%.
Yeah. Sometimes he has to lightning strike you to remind you. Mm-hmm.
And because we get fixated on shiny
Yes,
things.
we do.
See a building or we
Yes.
see and the Lord, he's like, no, like relationship. Like
Right.
I want you right
Right.
there with them.
Right.
And so that was even just a year ago. So I've kind of skipped around a few
That's
things.
okay. That's okay.
That's how we got where we are right now. We have just opened an office in Garden City.
Congratulations. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
We haven't put anything out yet.
That's okay.
But that's the goal. And right now, again, I'm a little bit all over the place. Okay. Right now, I think our focus is going to be, how do we make this actually a ministry? Because we've got these things we believe in, and we have seen what it can do, right? So how do we, and I was just having this conversation with someone, I've noticed that people tend to minister the way they were ministered to. So like Martin's a prime example. I mean, he will sacrifice and he will show up for you, and because that's what someone did for him. Other people I'm close to, like I've just noticed. And so I was like, man, and I really think this is why identity is such a huge piece. And so right now the conversation is, how do we actually minister identity?
That's really good, because I think, like, even as I said at the beginning, it's one thing for you to remove the tattoo and for that to no longer be a visible marking on your body. It's another thing for you to detach from a lifestyle or an identity that is no longer yours.
Right.
That really, the tattoo is just a symbol of. How do you then transition from, you've removed the tattoo, it's gone, but how do you then continue to walk out this life of freedom? Because we know what it's like. We've seen people, we know people that have made decisions to walk away from certain things, certain relationships, certain environments, certain gangs, certain settings. And then all of a sudden they've left that for just long enough where then the enemy comes back and says, well, don't you remember how much fun you had?
Yep.
Don't you remember how cool those people are?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden this carrot is dangled and you start to think, well, maybe even though the tattoo's gone, am I still actually gone? Is that part of me still actually dead? So then that is what I think, man, I love what we've said. What your ministry is yes, funding tattoo removal so that people can reunite themselves to the identity in Christ. But it's so much less, honestly, Dylon, about the tattoo as it is about, I want to remove that tattoo, but I also want to remove you, the old part in you that is attached to that.
100%.
You can remove the tattoo.
Right.
That's like the beginning. That is like.
Yes. And that is perfect. Like that's exactly what we're getting at. These tattoos are stamps.
Yeah.
And just like you said, there is a life attached to that tattoo.
Yeah.
If it's gang lifestyle, I mean, we have individuals who, for them, it's a celebration. Like, this is something I've come out of.
Right.
Sometimes these guys, they still are like, they're trying to live out this new life, but they still hear this voice, or they still think to themselves, like, maybe I am like this tattoo.
Yeah. I don't feel like I can speak to this effectively, but what is coming to my mind right now is people that have been in jail or been in prison for X amount of years, and they don't know how to acclimate to life once they're free. And I think that is sometimes what happens, is that we are in bondage. We are in chains. We are imprisonated by our old life, by our sin nature, by our flesh. And when we get set free, sometimes we don't know how to live in that freedom. And so I think what's beautiful about what you're doing is that, yes, we want to help get that marking off your body. We want it gone.
Yeah.
We don't want the symbolization of it. We want to see it. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to talk about it. We want it gone so that then we can have whatever's hindering us from living in the freedom that God has for us, get it off. Whether it's like, for some people, it might not even be a tattoo. It's some type of memorabilia.
Yep.
Maybe it's whatever it is.
Yes.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. If it's a picture of somebody you have in your house, get rid of it.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I got a lot of girlfriends. We broke up a lot of boyfriends, and we had a lot of burn parties. Okay, burn it. Get rid of it. That is that's not who I am anymore.
No.
That's not what I'm attached to anymore. So I think this shift that's happening in you, yes, the clinic to remove the tattoos, it's beautiful. There was nothing wrong with that. But it was like the layering of where God was eventually going to land you.
Yeah. Yes. Man, you said so many things so well. Like, that was great, because that is what is kind of like some of these applicants, is the term we use.
Yeah.
They believe, like, they'll come to us, and I don't know, you might be able to give input on this, but like I think this is where I'm getting with it. I used to believe that removing this tattoo sets them free, but the language I've started using is like, no, you're free. Like, this you don't have to get this tattoo off. But if this tattoo is going to help your brain and your mortal body recognize that this person no longer has power over you, then that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And we have seen, this is a story I can share.
Yeah.
We had this woman, she paired her decision to get clean, right? So she's got this story. She's got, a situation with her kids, custody, and a abuser, right? That's kind of in the picture. And we didn't know where she was. Like, we were just like, well, we're going to help her. If she's got to show up to the clinic, we didn't have, she was very far away. And so she showed up for her tattoo removal clinics, and she had her most recent relapse prior to the tattoo removal sessions that she started. Now, these tattoo removal sessions are a month apart generally, and they take between 8 and 15 sessions. So we're keeping contact over, I think it was about a year. I don't think the tattoo removal is what kept her clean, but I do think it edified a commitment she was already making.
Wow.
And so something about her showing up for herself, it communicated, this is important.
Yeah.
And we're taking this off.
Yeah.
And she was able to share that. She was like, I realize I am no longer the abuser's. I am God's. I am a child of God.
Wow.
And so there's something symbolic. There's something about taking their power back.
Yeah.
That edifies and shows up.
That's beautiful. I'm not his, but I'm his.
Yes.
That's amazing. You are partnering with and helping contribute to an identity shift, to a mind shift.
Right.
But I love what you said, that the tattoo removal isn't going to set you free.
No.
You are free because God said you are free indeed. The Son has set us free indeed. Period.
Yes.
But
we're the free indeed part.
Yeah.
We're just saying something that's already true.
We're putting the exclamation point on it, baby. Yes. Yeah. That's good. That's really good.
Okay. Yeah.
So Chains Break has been really kind of off the ground for the last 3 years. Starting in 2022 to where we are today. I would love for you to just kind of share what has happened in the last 3 years, in the sense of how you have found applicants and how applicants have found you, and just some of the impactful things that have happened, what you've seen, both in the sense of the tattoo removal, the identity exchanges that are happening, what you have seen happen really from the inside out, to the people that you've seen.
Yeah. We have not had a hard time finding applicants.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's really been a word of mouth. Actually, sometimes I get concerned for I want people to know we exist, that we can serve, but we get plenty of applicants. Right now, it's a matter of fundraising for those applicants. And being able to fund each tattoo as it comes.
Yeah.
We've spoke at churches, and we've had dinners, and we've been to conferences and things like that. And that's kind of how we got started.
Yeah.
It's been mostly word of mouth. If you look up free tattoo removal anywhere in the country, we should be the first thing that comes up. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of wild.
That's awesome.
And I think it's just because we're we're a little bit different because most tattoo removal in those scenarios comes through just a clinic offering it or whatever. I think as far as I know, we're the only institution doing it the way we are doing it. Yeah, which is really cool.
That's amazing.
And I could be wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But
as far as I know.
Yes, as far as you know.
Yeah. And so we started, our first tattoo removal was domestic violence tattoo. And I quickly, through our first few applicants, started to just be like, okay, what is actually happening, in the brain and in the body?
Yeah.
And, what do they experience? And I want to make sure I articulate this well and explain this well. But you have like trauma, right? And your body, right? Your person keeps track of that trauma, and it informs your brain how to operate, right? So that we never endure that again, right? Like a prime example would be, I get bit by a dog when I'm like 4 years old, and I decide all dogs are just dangerous. Don't ever go near a dog. So what happens is I stay away from all dogs, and I continue to reinforce this idea in my mind. It grows stronger that dogs can't be trusted because I have never gone near another dog and I haven't been bit since. So therefore, I'm correct in my belief that dogs are unsafe. And what happens is, if I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I have this tattoo, or even trafficking, this happens in trafficking, these tattoos, whether it's trafficking, this isn't always the initial intent in domestic violence situations, but a lot of times these tattoos are given to indicate some sort of messaging or shame, or, in the trafficking situation, that's how it shows up. Like, it's another layer of shame or another layer of control. In domestic violence, I think that is what happens. But in either scenario, a lot of times I get this tattoo, and this tattoo represents I'm loved. That's why I get the tattoo, right? So there's a message there. Like, that's why I'm getting it. That's the desire I have. And so I get this tattoo, and it says I'm loved. But what happens is I experience these things in the name of this tattoo, right? So this abuser abuses me, right? And I start to attach. So if this is what love is to me, this is then what I believe love is. And it continues to compound in the brain. And so the brain knows I have this tattoo, and it knows that I've experienced this. And so I end up in the situation, especially if I'm, if I haven't always, like, I may not know how to process what I've experienced, and what I experienced was extremely painful.
Right.
And so I'm not going to process it. I'm going to stamp something on this, like, this is what I deserve, right? Or whatever. I develop a belief to just reconcile, so I no longer have to deal with that, right? And so I stamp that, and then I operate in that, and that's the chain. Because then I can protect myself from that, and this is what I believe. So if I believe I'm not worthy of love, then I'm going to either continue to settle for relationships and situations that are unloving, or I'm going to treat myself like I'm not worthy of love.
Right.
And so what you have to do, what someone would have to do, is they have to, they have to hear that the dog is not dangerous, right? I have to hear that. And then I have to think about that. And then I have to go and I have to pet the dog. And the reality is, the dog still could bite me. Like, that's part of it.
Right.
But I get to take a chance, and I get to, we could go, like, if the dog were to, that would probably set us back, and, but that's part of it. So if I think I'm not worthy of love, I'm not going to be vulnerable.
Right.
But I have to take a chance, right? And step into a situation in which someone can actually love me.
Right.
And so that's kind of the science. And when someone goes to get their tattoo removed, that's a way in which they're actually going and they're exercising.
Yeah.
They're petting the dog.
Yes.
Like they're
Yes.
giving themselves a chance to challenge
Right.
what they believe. And we have found something, the brain keeps track.
Yes.
And something about showing up and getting this removed, like the brain's like, oh,
wait a minute.
yeah.
It challenges, I can't remember the exact language. I'll try not to butcher this, but it's a neuro wavelength. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the neuro wavelength, it's like driving a highway in your brain. Like you said, the more you tell yourself that the dogs are bad, I'm unworthy, I deserve this, the more you tell yourself that, then all of a sudden you break the chain in your brain.
Yes.
Wow, that was not planned. That language. You break the chain, the highway, all of a sudden you are changing the road. And you're saying, you bringing in this new experience on top of that to say, actually, not all dogs are bad. No. There was a bad dog. There was a bad person that hurt you. You don't deserve that.
No.
You are worthy to be loved. Not all dogs are going to bite you. There is then all of a sudden this new experience. It challenges. And that's hard. I will say that does not happen overnight. It can hurt. Absolutely. Especially when you've lived, it doesn't matter how many years you've lived a certain way, believing a certain thing. Right. It does hurt to then all of a sudden have that highway, that thought process challenged.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the decisions we make, the people we interact with, the places we go, is either keeping us away from a bad dog, or they're keeping us in places that are going to hurt us. And so now all of a sudden we're changing the landscape. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
Yeah. And you're right. Like you challenge it and then you exercise it. And now you've got a new pathway. And we get to hear it. And then we get to do it. We get to be a hearer of the word and then a doer of the word.
Let's go, Book of James. Yeah.
Yes. And then it solidifies and it starts to change. Once we realize I can pet the dog and I keep petting it, just like you said, that's I think that's the science of recovery.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And Chains Break gets to be not small, but a very impactful part of that transition of both what's happening psychologically and mentally in the brain because of what has happened physically.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. That is good. And so in removing that name, we get to reaffirm what's already true.
Wow.
Give to God what is God's.
Yeah. Take back what is yours. Take back what is his, your body, the body that he created, the body that was created in his image. Take it back, claim it again. Because really it's not just about you taking back your own personal identity. It's about taking your identity back and giving it unto the Lord. Yes. Which is again, a process. It is not just happens overnight. You do one session, you do 2 sessions. No, it is a process.
Yes.
And I didn't know, I do kind of want to give you a moment to speak to the actual process of tattoo removal, just because my brain is curious. I would love, I know you said that it is sometimes an 8 to 15 month process. I did not realize that. So can you speak to the actual, like the nitty gritty process of the removal?
Yeah. As best I can.
Yeah.
So it is basically a tattoo ages over time, and it has to be exposed to the sunlight or to the elements. And so what that laser does, they have it used to be like a cannon, and they would just really put this laser and just people would get scars. In the last 10 years, tattoo removal has skyrocketed. 1, people are getting lots of tattoos, and 2, just the technology's gotten much better. So they take a little pin, and if you really wanted to make a lot of money, I think it's a good profession to go into because it only takes 15 minutes. You just go over it once. You can only, because it'll burn. So you give it a little burn on the top. Basically, it's like getting a sunburn. And you just, each time you go, you get a little sunburn in that spot. And so, they just take a little pin. I actually got trained to do it because we were going to do it. Yeah. And you just trace it, and that's it. So you could fit, this isn't part of what we're talking about, but you could, I mean, every 15 minutes you can do a tattoo removal and you charge. You can charge. We get deals because people support us.
Right.
But it's generally like, I think it's like $200 to $500 a session. So it takes you 15 minutes to do a session. I mean, you can load your day and
wow.
It's lucrative.
Yeah.
And then I believe my numbers are accurate. Mm-hmm. This is based on just what I have gathered. So you have to wait a month, roughly 3 weeks before you can go for another session. And it takes, generally it takes about 8 sessions to get a whole tattoo off.
Wow.
And that depends on the ink density. The color green is really hard to take off. We have a woman right now, we're trying to find a clinic that will help us take off green ink.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Did you, back to you, did you ever get yours officially removed? So
it's funny. I went for my first session and I got it faded and it's still bad. I've never, it's still not fixed.
Have you gone to the lake and showed it off?
I just wear it. I just don't even, because it really was a starting point.
Yeah.
And I might fix it someday. Yeah. It's my plan. But now that the story redeemed it.
Absolutely.
It's not even and we tell people, like, we've got individuals like Martin, he's got gang affiliated tattoos, and some of them he points to be like, this is what God saved me from. I'm like, keep those.
Keep them.
If they've got
if there's not a trigger or a stronghold, keep them.
Right.
Keep them, baby, to show what was is not what is anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's
Praise
cool.
the Lord.
Maybe you will one day fix it. Maybe you won't.
Yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe I will, just like you said. But I might. We've learned that what you put on your body is super powerful.
Yeah.
And you know how we say words, like you said, and they form neurological pathways.
Yeah.
Just having a tattoo does that too.
Yeah.
And even more so.
Yeah.
So if you get a tattoo, I would warn someone. We're not anti-tattoo,
right.
But I would warn someone, what you put on your body is super important. And if you put something on your body, this is my opinion, put something like Child of God, put something like
it's biblical.
Yes. It's going to reinforce what is true.
That's really good. I think I saw your phrase, not anti-tattoo.
Pro-identity.
Pro-identity. I think that is so good. So say that in real time.
We're not anti-tattoo, but we're pro-identity.
That's so good. I think that's really important to know. I have tattoos. Honestly, there's not a single one that I regret.
Right.
Some of them make me laugh. Some of them make me cry. Some of them bring me joy. Some of them take me back to a time in my life that I'll never get to go back to again. There is a lot of beauty, but I was very intentional and have been really intentional that whatever it is that I choose to permanently or semi in this case, place on my body, I want it to align with what I want to believe about myself based on what God says about me. And that is the key point as well, that you have to make sure that identity, we're pro-identity, but that identity is rooted in Christ, because we can form a lot of identities and a lot of beliefs about ourselves that are not aligned 100%. With the Word of God. So I agree with that entirely. I'm not anti-tattoo. I have tattoos.
Yeah.
Not to my mother's liking. Yeah. The first tattoo I was ever going to get, I was traveling Europe with my besties, and honestly, I was on their dime for the most part. Like, I had funded this much of the trip and they had funded the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
And my friend and I wanted to get compass tattooed on our ankles, and her parents didn't care. Mine did care.
Right,
and when I called them from a little coastal town in England and said, I'd like to get a tattoo, my mom said, then don't come home. And I was like, yeah, cool. Well, you already paid for the ticket home. So I'm coming home either way. I'm coming home. But I didn't get the tattoo. I did chicken out. I honored my parents and waited. And then my first tattoo I got to get with my aunts and my cousin. So it's like, not to my parents' appreciation of the tattoos, but I agree. I think we should be really intentional with the things that we put on our body. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here having this conversation today. And not everybody is afforded So I don't want you to pick up any shame, because yes, while
No.
we're telling you to be intentional with the things that you choose to put on your body, the whole reason this ministry exists is because some of you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Some of you weren't given the opportunity to choose wisely, to say no.
Yeah.
And so please hear us. Our heart is absolutely all the grace, all the love, all the compassion, all the empathy. Those of you that do get a say, choose wisely. And for those of you that were not given the opportunity, this is a good man sitting right here to help you. So I'd really love to dive into any, those that are listening and are feeling a stirring of, okay, I might need something on my body removed. What do we do next? And for those of you that are listening and you're like, I might not have a marking on my body that needs to be removed, but I want to help somebody who can. Because our goal, yes, in having this conversation, is we want to bring light to Chains Break. We want to bring exposure to Chains Break and what you guys do. But with more exposure comes more opportunity, and with more opportunity comes more need for money. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So we can't do these things, unfortunately, don't happen for free. We want them to happen to other people for free. And so I just kind of want to talk a little bit about those of you that are listening and you want to get involved to help, and those of you are listening and you want to apply. Two very important conversations I think we should have.
Yeah. To apply, right now, the way we have it set up is you have to go to chainsbreak.org, and then you can go to apply for funds individual or apply for funds organization. We work with some organizations. They can apply. We will just send the money directly to the organization because we just trust them to have their person they're serving at, their best interest. An individual, we will then pair them. Well, they'll go to the application, and there's not a lot of questions, but it's mostly just like, what does this mean to you? And we can tell pretty quick. Because we do have we review the application and we make sure that like this kind of fits our mission, and most of the time it does. And we can usually, something happens, the Lord's been good, he always sorts things out. They will just fill out the application, and it just kind of asks, what does this mean to you? And then we will pair that person with a clinic, and we'll start facilitating it from there.
Wow. So you also help with partnering them with the place to get the removal done.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And we're young, and so we're trying to make that smoother. I guess that's a heads up for anybody who applies right now. Sometimes we do get back to them right away, but we have a waiting list right now, and that goes right into the next piece of it. We are getting a lot of tattoos, and we're trying to navigate, okay, there's a ministry piece, there's a structure piece, and there's a fundraising piece. And right now we do a charity dinner in October 25th. You can go to our website and you can register for that if you'd be interested in attending. It'll be here in Garden City at the American Legion, or someone could participate in our 5K. We are finding that those are very effective ways to fundraise. But right now we're not keeping up with our applications, and we do have a waiting list. And so, if someone feels called to give, they can just go to our website, and there's a place to give there. We are looking right now. We're looking for advocates. Our goal is to have one person per applicant. And we're navigating what preparing the advocate would look like, but mostly what we want these advocates to do is just know their person. Because right now we have a team, and this team is completely volunteer. And so they have lives, and they have kids, and they have jobs, and they can know one person, but they can't know three people. And so at this moment, all we are doing, apart from some encouragement, is removing their tattoo. So as far as volunteering goes, if someone feels called, like if they're watching this and they feel called and they really want to work with someone and they want to participate in this identity exchange or freedom from the past, we are planning, I don't have a date for it yet, to have a advocate onboarding event in which we just walked people through what it would mean to be an advocate. And so if they do feel called to do that, or they feel prompted, I'd love for them to contact me. Can I just give my info?
Absolutely.
Here?
We'll put it in
the link.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. We're going to put it where they can find it.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. We're going to put it in the bio. I'm also going to attach links to your website, links to your Facebook page, so that they can go like and follow and be a part of all of that.
Okay.
So that they can also, changebreak.org is pretty easy.
Yep.
But that way they have easy access to all the important places where you post important things.
Okay. Perfect. Did I answer all the questions?
Yeah, I think that's good. So what I'm hearing is, first and foremost, every single person who has listened to this video, we would love for you to be praying, to be spiritually partnering with
100%
this organization in their ministry and the work that they are already accomplishing and what we believe you're going to continue to accomplish. Right. So first and foremost, pray. If you feel a stirring in you and you have the ability to give, please do it.
Yeah.
Do it unto the Lord. Do it unto the freedom of others. Do it unto the fruit of this ministry and what Dylon and his team are accomplishing. And then I really love the word advocate. I think that is incredible. For those of you that are like, I want to be a part of helping these people continue to walk in freedom. I want to be a part of helping these people untie and unwind those old pathways, those old behaviors, those old beliefs. I want to help those people continue to walk out this new life, tattoo free, but also free indeed.
Yeah, free indeed.
So I think that's really incredible. And then yes, as you go, follow, know their website pages, be looking out for events, fundraisers, different things that they're doing, so that you can be hands-on wherever you are, wherever you listen. I think that there is a place for you to be part of what Chains Break is doing. I think that's really impactful. I would love for you to share really just a closing word of encouragement to somebody that's listening and feels as though they have been tied to an identity that they don't want anymore, whether that's because of a tattoo or otherwise. I would love for you just to give a sweet word of encouragement, really of what you have seen on the other side of people walking in freedom, what you have seen in the fruit of people taking a step towards a new identity in Christ. What have you seen on the other side of some of these people that you knew before when they had the tattoo, and you knew their stories, you knew what they walked through, and who they are now on the other side of this journey of really, yes, removing a tattoo, but so much more than that.
Yeah. I would say that it is imperative that we know that what we have done, or even what we will do, says nothing about our value in our Father's eyes. And if you can know that, no matter what tattoo, no matter what you've been through, it doesn't measure, it doesn't hold a, whatever the term would be, to what the Lord has for you. And he's there, and he's fathering you right now.
He
whether
loves
you're
you.
aware of it or not.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. He's waiting. He's ready. He's not mad at you. He's not mad at the things that you've done. He's not mad at the things. He is heartbroken at the things that were done to you. His heart is with you, but he's not mad.
No.
He doesn't have a dirty finger waving it at you. And so I think that's really beautiful. The Lord is waiting for you. And I think what Chains Break, their ability to come alongside you, to link arms with you spiritually and even physically, to say, let's go. Let's get rid of what was. Let's get rid of who you were. Let's get rid of that past, and let's walk forward into the freedom that that God has for you. I know we talked a little bit about that. You've got like a handful of scriptures that have really anchored you and anchored this ministry. I would love for you to speak to any of those.
Yeah. Let me look real quick.
Up at the top. Yep.
So, one that actually surprising, it doesn't make sense initially, but Matthew 22:15, give to God what is God's and render Caesar what is Caesar's. Whose image do we bear? We bear his image.
Yes.
And so removing these tattoos is just a way in which we continue to declare over someone's life that they are God's.
That's good.
John 8:36. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. You are free indeed.
Yeah.
Those are the main. Those are the anchor.
Good.
Scriptures to chains
really
break.
good.
Yeah, and our team has a number of scriptures they've also quoted as we've grown.
Good. Yeah.
That I wish that they were here to share.
Yeah. Well, I know we spoke to this before we even clicked record, but I just want to say thank you, one, for this, the Other Side podcast is just a small part that I'm so honored you have allowed to be part of what you're doing. But I want to say thank you for saying yes to the call that God put on your life. It is not easy when the Lord puts this little nudge inside of you, and we can try. I know there was some years in which we were like, I'm going to go run. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. Yeah. We've all done that. I want to say thank you for saying yes to the call that God put on your life, the impact that you have made and will continue to make. And I believe that not only is what you're doing now going to make a mark on the people that you get to rub shoulders with, but man, I hope it sets a lot of people free, even in generations to come.
Yeah.
I know we spoke to you guys, like we're just going to have a real conversation, Other Side watchers and listeners. There is a lot of legality to doing these type of things. There is red tape. There are hoops that you have to jump through. You don't become a nonprofit easily. You don't get to do things easily. And I'd like you to speak to what you said before we even press record of, man, I don't want you or anybody else who's got a fire inside of them to do something to lose sight of the work of the ministry.
100%. 100%. And what God wants you to do is so much greater than, running or doing the thing that you want to do. He's got better things for you. And it will get hard, but he's always forming you in those things. He's always preparing you for the thing that he's put on your heart. Yeah. The vision. He's got a plan.
Absolutely. If you said this earlier, that God graced you for that season, and I believe God's going to continue to grace Chains Break for what is to come. And those of you that are listening, God's going to grace you as well. If this is maybe even lit a fire in you or reminded you of a nudge that God placed in your heart, let Dylon and I's conversation remind you to go, to chase after it. Now, sometimes it is wait, it is grow, it is ground yourself, it is reformulate your identity. There are sometimes that it is a wait. Make sure you honor that, you listen to that. But if the Lord is telling you to go and you haven't, let this be the nudge for you to go. And keep your eyes on what's right. Like, yes, we do have to do the red tape. We do have to do the legalities. We do have to do those things. But at the end of the day, even if all of that fell away, you're still accomplishing the work of what God wants you to do. You're setting people free in the name of Jesus Christ. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you want to close with?
Just thank you for having me. I mean, vision to vision. Like, it's just cool how the Lord brings people together to make something and do something good.
Amen. So that's the prayer, like we just hope that whatever we say yes to and whatever we agree to, that the Lord's going to use it for the good of his kingdom. It's not about Dylon's name. It's not about Hannah's name. No. While Chains Break and the Other Side are great names. Right. At the end of the day, it's about his name. And I appreciate that your heart is very clear that that's what this is about for you.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah. This is awesome. Well, Other Side listeners, thank you so much for being here. This has been such a privilege to have this conversation today. I'm truly honored. I hope we get to come back and even continue to unpack some of the things because you guys are not done. Okay. This is really just like the sweet intermediate phase, if you will, because it doesn't feel like the beginning. You guys have done some incredible things, but it feels like the sweet little intermediate season for you guys. And I can't wait to have you come back and share more of what God does. But thank you for being here. Make sure that you take some time to go check out Chains Break website, their Facebook page. Go see what they're doing, what God is doing through them. Become a partner of what God is doing and how they're using Chains Break. And then as a reminder, before you leave today, make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow to the Other Side Podcast so you can stay up to date with what we're doing, the conversations we're having. You can also jump in, women specifically, to our Other Side devotional. Jump into our monthly devotional. We're studying a number of different things, and we would love to have you be part of it. So thank you again. We'll see you next time.